Greetings and salutations. It's me, yours truly, Robert Phoenix, and welcome to the new time. That's right. We are in equinoctial territory. It can be. I'm all in shadow and light today. The ever-changing conditions of the light spectrum here. Back in the glass house. You know, I'm kind of living in this glass house. So I shouldn't be throwing stones now, should I? Metaphorically speaking. Looking at these windows, they need to clean too. That's a big job. Anyway, how is everybody? How are you today, tonight? Wherever you are, wherever the heck you all are, and you're all over the place, literally and figuratively, and that's a good thing. All right, let's do a little roll call here. We got our man, Michael's sister Nino. Now, he was there at 12:17 a.m. I'm not sure if he's here now, but he was here then, and I'm going to assume he's here now. Michael, what's happening? Liddy Lou, I'm up before the sun today. Liddy Lou, you beat me by about a half an hour. I was up by 6:15. Scott Jersey, what's happening, Scott? Have time. Pacific Northwest crew, cover the ears. Get your garlic oil handy. It's nasty out there. All right. California Contrarian, what's up? AKA Flat Earth Hippie, great to see you. We got Jersey number 2. That's Christina coming right back. Happy spring back to you, Atlanta. Top of the morning. Yes, everybody's up early today, including yours truly, listening to Bowie's Life on Mars while I'm waiting. I had a Bowie song in my head this morning. Funny you should mention that. The song is DJ by David Bowie from the very, very underrated, I believe, Lodger. It's on the Lodger record. I love the Lodger record. That whole series of Bowie records, from Low to Heroes to Lodger to Scary Monsters, it's fucking great. Like, Bowie just keeps hitting everything out of the park with those records. Not everything on Lodger is great. There's a few weird songs, but I would say by and large, Look Back in Anger is amazing. And then he comes with Let's Dance. Like, David Bowie decides, I'm going to make a hit record and sell a lot of records. That's what I'm going to do. That's what happens. So, you know, there's some really great songs on Let's Dance. It's a great pop record. And then he goes into a weird space after that, album-wise. He doesn't really pull out of it for a while. It's like he hits this massive peak and then it just drops off, right? Yeah. Serious, what is it? Not Serious. Oh, God. No, I'm having Andy Edwards. Anyway, enough Bowie. Susan, what's happening? Jackie Delario. Who's working in gardens today? Your lovely and talented one. She's in the garden today. Janine, what's happening, Janine? I love Jupiter Day and all of you. I'm right there with you, artists here. Diane Evans checking. Hi, Diane. Janice Phillips. Yeah, it got cold. You know it's cold. You know it's cold if Janice Phillips says it's cold. Let's see. You need more coffee and pants. Interesting. I wonder if there's a business there where you can sell coffee and pants. That'd be an interesting business. Dave Sullivan, Big Dave Sullivan, what's happening? I have my morning cup. That was finished about an hour ago. Scrubbies, Tamara, what's going on? Meow meow kitty poop. Green-eyed crow. My man Thomas Jordan, what's happening? Let's see what else we have here. Yes, please hit like, subscribe, notification, all that stuff. We gained 100 subscribers. If YouTube is being completely fair and honest with me, we've gained 100 subscribers. I'm now 15,100. It is the slow march to 20K, but we will get here. We will get here. I got to put this up. Scrubbies, El Ruturi yogurt, then dump cake. So we've been doing the El Ruturi yogurt here in this part of the world, and I got to tell you, it's an amazing medicine. Amazing medicine. Harry Bowie, hey. Let me throw this right up here. I will be on tonight with my guy, Zerolith Immortal, Slick Dissonant, aka Gabriel, and we will be swimming in deep esoteric waters. Ooh, can't wait. That'll be awesome. Jill Wong checking in from Mexico. What's going on, Jill? Yes, you can buy me a cup of coffee right there. Since I don't get super chats, coffee is the way that you can support the show. For everybody who has, purchase me a cup of coffee. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Ratchet Boo, what's going on? Happy Astro New Year. Woohoo! Magic Cat with an ICK from West Bloomfield. MI, what's happening, Magic Cat? There's our guy right there. It is his day. Thor at the door. It is Thor's day. Man, Steve. Steve, we got to catch up soon. We haven't talked in a while. We got to catch up. Susan Chapel, she's here. I always give good shirt. That's right. I am conscious of what I wear for you. Absolutely. It's the Libra in me. Amy Gill. Lynette Jardine, Matt Maxine, Susan Trails and Bernie. Oh, cool. I kind of have a little Bernie regret. I think when my mother was around, we probably should have moved to Bernie. Now that I think about it. But it's all good. It's all perfect. It's all perfect. Kelly's here. Yes, you can become a member of Locals. It's free. If you want to be a supporting member, that's awesome too. But Kelly, you're not late today. Right on time. Soul Traveler, Aaron's Energy 313, blessings right back at you. He's everywhere. He is everywhere. Our guy, DJ MC. Agatha Augustine. How about that? Jacinda Agatha Brooke Downey says, good morning. Nashville. We got Nashville checking in. PB, my guy Neil from Wisconsin. What's up, Neil? If you want a reading, right there. There you go. I have been a busy beaver on the reading front. Speaking of which, I have some good sessions set up today. Sharon Lewis, hey, you're fine. You're right on time, Sharon. Good to see you. My Endless Road is with us. What's happening? Green-Eyed Crow looking at Bowie painting. Ooh, love to see that. Bowie was a painter. Hey, it's Philip Thompson's birthday. You know what happens around these parts when somebody has a birthday? Oh, Philip Thompson, you get the birthday song. That's right. Mm-hmm. You get the birthday song. So what would be an appropriate song for Philip Thompson? Let's see. Let's see what we got for Philip. Let's see what the old birthdayometer. Let's see what we got here. I could do that. I could do that. Let's see. Philip, since you are an Aries, we are going to serenade you with a very Aries-like happy birthday song. And of course, with Aries, what do we think of? Oh, we think about the military. That's right. So, Philip, happy solar return. The military marching band with your birthday anthem to kick off your personal year and the astrological new year. Here we go. Oh, you can't see the video. Oh, I apologize. It is the first video of the day. False start. Oh man, I'm bummed. Take two, Philip. Take two. Here we go. I forgot. For whatever reason, the first video of the day just doesn't play. All right. From the top. Here we go. Oh, the fanfare. The fanfare. That is the way to start the day. Then you have a wonderful solar return. Let's see. Nene rocks. What's happening, Nene rocks? I love the earthing is great. We're having Bowie talk. Earthing is awesome. It's an awesome. I love earthing. I love the drum and bass shit. I think it's his last best. The stuff that comes after that is interesting, but it's really dark. I'm okay with dark, but earthing is genius. Stephanie Hunter, what's happening? Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan is on that record. He's on the Let's Dance record. I saw David Bowie live in high school. I saw Bowie how many times? Saw him 3 times. And I'll do a little kind of starfucker moment. I interviewed David Bowie. A lot of you know the story. I'll save it for another time. But it was kind of one of the highlights of my life, to be honest with you. Let's see. Thank you, Agatha Augustine. I'm glad you love the show. Oh, look, we got a Sandra Jack Straw sighting. Checking in from Mass. Jupiter Leg Day. Bill Brockman, what's going on? Double B. Julie Sunshine, big cat ladies here. I keep kind of dozing off. Well, I hope that birthday anthem woke you up, Dave. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Anybody else? Look at that. So let's see. Oh, Steve picked up a subscriber. Good. Valeria Rubens. Mia. Beach Barn. The Beach Barn? Yes, just have to wait for that lotto money. The lotto is such a scam. My God. Such a big scam. Philip is a musician as well. I hope you enjoyed that brass rendering of Happy Birthday. There you go. All right. Let's get the much appreciated. Right on, Philip. Okay, get out. You don't know the story? If I have time, I'll tell the David Bowie story. But your your attention is much more important. All right, let's get into this day. How can you not feel optimistic? Even with all the shit going on in the world, how can you not feel optimistic? There we go. This is the one day where everything is possible. A little bit. There we go. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Right there. Sun 0. Sun 0. You know, yesterday, 29, 29, Sun 29, Neptune 29. It's always an interesting time of year because of a sun-sun opposition. Whenever you're going through a sun-sun opposition, you are not at the peak of your powers. You are at the bottom of your powers. Let's be honest about that. So it's like this time of year in Pisces, it's like I'm kind of fading. And it was exacerbated by Neptune because Neptune's opposing my sun right now. And my approach with the Neptune sun opposition has been one of doing my best to kind of go with the flow. And so okay. It's like when you were a kid and you were playing with water outside, right? And sort of water was maybe like running down like a small tributary, like a small creek or something. And you could put rocks in the water and you could watch the water sort of go around the rocks that you're fucking around with, right? Like as a kid, you do stuff like that. It's kind of a metaphor for the Neptune Sun opposition. I'm the rock and I'm the water, and I'm just kind of watching the water kind of go around me. And it's been an interesting shift in kind of axis from because I'm a Virgo, right? The South Node has been on my sun or around my sun ever since I went into Virgo. And that's sort of the sweet spot of my ability to be analytical and shit like that. And so we've been in this Pisces heavy season, and I've got the South Node of Pisces, which means I can draw from it. Like it's there. It's a kind of a baseline that I can draw from. But it's been interesting in moments where I can either be critical or I can sort of go with the flow, the rock and the water thing. It's been easier. Like I'm learning these kind of going with the flow lessons. And yesterday was interesting because it was the end of the astrological new year. And both the sun and Neptune are opposing my sun. And the last reading I had of the day was heavy lifting. Like it was heavy, and it was a heavy day. I had like 4 readings yesterday. I enjoyed it. It was great. But it was like, okay, all right, got that done. But it felt like that last reading yesterday really felt like the end of the astrological. And it was like, and I just let go the expectations, whether or not this person got what they needed out of it, right? Here it is. But then we're not talking about that now. We're talking about the sun in Aries. We're talking about you, not me. It's a time for new beginnings. And the only thing that we're dealing with right now in my humble estimation is a square with Jupiter. And it's that square with Jupiter and Saturn, which has been ongoing for a while. Everything else is pretty flowy, right? Yeah, we have the moon Jupiter opposition. We'll talk about that. But I love this Sagittarius moon on the first day of the astrological new year. I mean, who's not ready? Who's not game? Who's not up for some action today? Everything is possible. The emotional aperture is wide open, wide open. And so we start this astrological new year with a sense of humor. Humor is the greatest medicine that we have. If you cannot laugh, can't laugh at yourself, or you can't laugh at life circumstances, or you can't help other people laugh, then we are just soulless Borg. And one of the things that political correctness did is it murdered comedy. And the only thing that became funny, theoretically, were these jokesters on the left completely skewering Donald Trump and Republicans and conservatives day in, day out, to a point where it was no longer funny. And one of the things that comedy has right at the heart of it is sometimes it is offensive. Like, you better be prepared to be offended at a certain point, or at least have somebody threaten to be offensive, because that's where the comedic gold is. Don Ripples made a career out of being offensive. Don Ripples, very funny. And this moon in Sagittarius is like, well, lighten the fuck up. Lighten the fuck up. You know, let's have some fun here. You know, let's see the humor, the inherent humor in everything. Now, remember, sometimes Sagittarius can go cynical, because when the truth isn't on the table for Sagittarius, when it's on the table, sometimes you can go cynical. But that's not what we are. We are not in the cynical side of Sag. We are in the avuncular side of Sag. And it's fine. So this is a tone. You're setting a tone for the next 365 days. This is it. This is your tone setting chart right here. And I got to say, it's a good chart. It's even with the retrogrades, it's a good chart, because everything is pretty much sextiling or trining. You got one opposition, and it's a very interesting opposition. It's the moon opposing Jupiter. And Jupiter, of course, is in Gemini. And Jupiter in Gemini can be kind of interesting. Like, it's in its detriment. Why? Because Gemini is made up of a bunch of small things. You know, Gemini is a bunch of microaggressions that add up to one macroaggression. No, it could be anything. But that's the nature of Gemini. Versus Jupiter and Sag, which is the macro whole. Think of Jupiter and Gemini as the planetary influence of small plate binding. You guys know small plate binding. Who doesn't like some small plate binding? If you can afford it, because you're not going to get much on your plate, which means you're going to need a lot of plates. If you can afford it, and the small plates are great, small plate binding is great. That's like Jupiter and Gemini. You get a lot, but there's a lot of a little. You know what I mean? Okay. This is one of those days where Jupiter and Gemini, again, I think it's also filled with these microaggressions. Look what's happening to Elon Musk and Tesla. Like, there's a lot of terror going on there. It's terror. There's a lot of terror happening. They're going after Tesla owners. They're going after Tesla dealerships. And it's not a good thing. The destruction of private property, I am not a fan of. Not a fan. And that's what it is. It's destruction of private property. But there's more than just that going on, right? There's also these things happening. People are getting swatted right and left. A guy from InfoWars got swatted twice. Over Schroeder got swatted. Juanita Broaddrick got swatted. The swatting thing is like kind of out of control. So these are what I would call our social microaggressions. You got the Tesla stuff. You got the swatting stuff. You got the activist judge stuff. They're all these things that are very Gemini-like, and they're especially with Tesla because it's how certain people choose to move. Gemini's about movement. If you want to buy one of their shitty trucks, I think the cars are a little better. The truck is a piece of shit. I don't know why anybody would buy a truck. I'm sorry, if you have a Tesla truck, I don't give a thing. But it's a piece of shit, and it looks stupid. It just looks stupid. It looks like some adolescent vision of what a truck might look like on Mars. You know what I mean? This is what it's like. If we can build a vehicle that looks like a truck on Mars, what would it look like? After working on it, it looked like that piece of shit. That's what it looked like. Anyway, this moon in Sagittarius, don't give a fuck. No, it doesn't give a fuck. It's like, it is profane. The moon in Sagittarius is kind of profane. And a good streak of blue or black humor goes a long way as the medicine to offset these incessant and pesky microaggressions that have been taking place. So this is really setting the tone for the year. It's this moon-sun trine. And what is the energy you want to take forward? The energy you want to take forward is, hey, I got this. I can handle this. That's the nature of Aries. Right? Aries is filled with, hey, I got this. Throw something in my path, no problem. I'll deal with it. And if and sometimes, especially if you're an Aries person, you are the thing that gets thrown into other people's paths. No offense to our birthday guy, but that's kind of how Aries rolls, right? So if we really drill down and look at this, it speaks to our ability to deal with conflict and to meet challenge and to do it with a spirit of humor and goodwill. Sagittarius is relentlessly optimistic. In a lot of ways, it is the most positive sign until it goes dark. When Sagittarius goes dark, it goes dark and becomes very cynical. Very, very cynical. But sometimes even when it's cynical, it's still fun. Like Bill Hicks, Sagittarius. But Sag is relentlessly optimistic. So this is the energy you want to take in this day, this astrological new year, the ability to meet challenges and to remain optimistic and keep a good sense of humor as you move through the world and deal with the bullshit. It's right there. The moon is sextiling Pluto. Fantastic. I love it, right? It's the ability to take dark matter vis-a-vis Pluto, channel it emotionally, and laugh at it. Get a good laugh. I mean, so here's the dark humor side of it. It's the Pluto moon sextile. I would say that today, like, it's an interesting time internationally. And I would definitely kind of keep an eye on, like, the tariff stuff. I think the tariff stuff is going to be big news today, and how some of the countries are going to respond to this ongoing deal with Trump. I was talking with somebody in Canada, one of my clients, good dude. He says there's no American products in any of the stores in Canada. It's a radical long play by President Cheeto. We'll see how it goes. But it feels like this is a big part of this moon Jupiter opposite. I'll tell you another big part of this thing. Conor McGregor was at the White House 2 days ago. St. Patrick's Day was Monday, right? And he basically said, look, the Irish people are being fucked with in Ireland. Like, finally, somebody from Ireland with a profile had the ability to stand in front of a bunch of microphones and deliver the news to the rest of the world that doesn't know what the fuck is going on in Ireland. They're being invaded. They're being invaded. And Conor McGregor brought it up and took it to the White House. Good for him. And it feels like this moon in Sag and this Jupiter in Gemini has a lot to do with migration in what I would call indigenous culture. The indigenous culture being the culture of the people that live in the place. You would think, oh, Ireland's not indigenous. Well, of course it's fucking indigenous. You just think of indigenous has to do with somebody from the center of Australia or from some part in Africa, right? You think that this is the only definition of indigenous? No. The Irish people have an indigenous culture. It's a culture unto itself. And that is being violated, ironically, by what we call indigenous people. So we're looking at today. I'm on the record. We're looking at a pushback around this fourth assimilation. People in certain places have had enough. It's like, it's enough already. We have enough diversity. Thank you. Our diversity cup is full. Our diversity cup runneth over. See, this is where Sagittarius comes in, and it's like, oh, here comes the racist part of Sagittarius. Here comes the fascist part of Sagittarius. Well, you can take it any way you want. But Sagittarius is telling the truth. A lot of people don't like the truth. We're going to get into more of this over on 15 minutes. And I'm going to talk about the EU and their digital wallet, but there's more. I'm going to talk a lot more about other topics. I'm going to get into what's going on with this terror stuff. I'm going to talk about the JFK release. So there's going to be a kind of a wide range of topics in recovery over 15 minutes of time. And some of it will be in this Sagittarian moon quadrant. Mars is in trine with Neptune, and it's creeping closer and closer. Mars-Neptune trines are creative. So all you garden people out there, it's a great day to garden. Don't forget to be creative. What is that little flourish or touch that you can bring to your landscape experience? For me, I got creative. I've been getting creative on my porch. I know it sounds mundane, but I'm shooting for the best porch in my neighborhood. And I've been driving around, and I've been scoping out other porches. And right now, I don't know. There's not a porch in this neighborhood that can touch my porch. By the way, I want to thank Tom for putting together a new red bench. I have a red bench on my porch. That's right. I got a red bench. And I got a red door. And I got these cool sort of desert plants out there. These sort of adobe brown pots. I'm telling you, it is a good looking fucking porch. So for me, it's just creative. It's an opportunity for me to be creative. And I urge you as well. Be creative when you get out there and dig into Mother Nature. And guess what? We got a Mars-Saturn trine. Mars is going to be moving closer to Saturn. Yes, you can work. You can have some endurance, but in water, you don't want to push it too much. You can overwork yourself even when the conditions are right. We got this nice Mars-Saturn trine. It's springtime. Stay hydrated. If you're going to work, make sure you stay hydrated. The one caveat, Mars Chiron square. That's interesting. Mars Chiron square. They've been kind of dancing off each other, right? Chiron sort of moves forward, moves back. Mars moves forward, moves back. So we've been in this Mars Chiron square things for a while. Here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to get busted, like vandalizing somebody's Tesla. Or somebody's going to get caught in the act. And let me tell you, it is not going to be pretty. It will not be pretty. Why? Because there's this growing sense of tension and vengeance. Like on the macro, oh, this is great. You're doing all these great deportations. When are you going to arrest somebody? When are you going to arrest somebody and bring them to the front? And you bring them to the front. Say, look, this is one of the reasons why we are in the state that we're in. Like, this is really important. It's very important. If there's corruption, people need closure. And if they don't have that, then when they have the ability to take things into their own hands, it gets ugly. Ugly. And we're right at the precipice of that. So I would not be surprised somebody's caught in the act and the village just completely turns on. What else do we have? Saturn is sextiling Uranus. That's interesting. It's a good time for astrologers. Very good time for astrologers. A lot of mainstreaming of astrology. I can see it. There's a lot of astrologers out there now. Wow. It's huge. Huge. Because you have these new generations coming in. You've got millennial astrologers. You've got Gen Z astrologers. And Gen Z loves astrology. They love it. Even my son, Gen Z son, knows it. What can you tell me about this Cancer girl? All right. Here we go. Let's do the banner. I'm all in shadow of the show. Okay, so the True Hemp Science portion of the show is now. And True Hemp Science, of course, is the life work and the passion of our guy Chris over at truehempscience.com. You guys know the drill. You go there, you spend $100 or more, type in 15MINS, and you will get the goodie bag, which is an order within an order. You hear me talk about it every day. It is the Whitman sampler of CBD. You'll get some gummies in there. Trust me, you will thank me and Chris for the gummies. $150 more, get your free shipping. There's always a 30-day money back guarantee. How's that? That's American. All right. Today's THS star of the day is none other than Barron Trump, the enigmatic Barron Trump. Looks like he's got a little bit of dad's hairline there, doesn't he? Yeah, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it. He's got that weird hairline, wave curve. Barron, if I were you, I'd invest in something. Let's talk about Barron Trump besides his hair. Barron Trump is not of this world. I'm telling you right now, he is not of this world. Barron Trump is a spaceman. You're probably asking yourself the question, Robert, why is he a spaceman? I'd be happy to give you my insight as to why Barron Trump is a spaceman. He has no Earth in his chart. He's got Black Moon Lilith in Virgo. What's that? He's got Pallas in Capricorn. And that's it. He is not tethered to this world. Not only that, but the majority of the planets in his chart are hanging out in the 12th house. Now, I think Barron Trump is very intelligent. I think he's extremely intelligent. He's got, what's interesting about him, and this is a trip, right? For having Mercury on the ascendant, not quite little 12th housey, but right there, you would think that he would be more verbal and vocal. He's not. Mercury in Pisces doesn't always work that way. You would think that he'd be talking all the time. No, that's not really how he rolls. But he's very intelligent. He's got this Mercury-Jupiter trine. And to me, this feels very old soul-y, right? And where is he pulling that Jupiter from? It's from the 8th house. You know, we know Jupiter's in its detriment in Scorpio, but I don't really have a problem with Jupiter in the 8th house in general. I'm not even sure I have a problem with Jupiter in Scorpio. I think it's an interesting placement. We'll talk more about that another time. But this is also the house of ancestors. This is the ancestral house, the 8th house. It's the underworld. So he's pulling from ancestral knowledge. He has a connection there, but he's also pulling from the underworld. He doesn't say a lot, but I guarantee you, he is paying attention. He's paying attention, and he is psychologically profiling everybody in his environment. Everyone. And you can see how he was having a very difficult time with Elon Musk. Like, Elon Musk is, in a lot of ways, the antithesis. Like, Elon Musk is, you know, he's like a kind of a, I don't know, what would you call it? Like a golden retriever on speed. And Barron Trump is not like that. He's very reserved. This guy's reserved. He's also on the 29th degree of Pisces, the final degree of the zodiac. This dude's an old soul. And he's kind of etheric. There's no earth here. Any relationships he has, nobody's going to really see them. Venus, 12th house, they're going to be very guarded and secret, right? And he's even got Chiron in Aquarius. It's like, where does he fit in? You know, he probably fits in with a very small circle of friends that he has a very private relationship with. He has Neptune in the 12th house. So this is basically, house placement by dignity. It's a nice placement for Neptune. People that have Neptune in the 12th house, this is the right term for them. They're natural born mystics. Right? Like, you don't need to go find God. Like, and I think it's true for everybody to a certain extent, but it's certainly true for Barron Trump. He doesn't need to find it. It's in him. It's right here. It's right here. And he's just naturally wired that way. And it leads to a lot of introspection. And even probably some introversion, which is ironic because you would think that Mercury would be more chatty, but it's not. And he's got this grand trine, right? The moon and Sag, which we just talked about. He's probably got a sense of humor we don't really know about. But look at this. He's got Saturn and Leo. Wow. Right? That's the father is king. Hello. You know who that is. And his Saturn is in Trump's 12th house. It's an interesting placement for his Saturn. Barron Trump is the one person that can get Donald Trump to stop what he's doing and figure out where the hell he is in the universe. I'm telling you right now, Barron Trump is Donald Trump's conscience. It is not Melania. It's not Don Jr. It's not Eric. It's not Ivanka. It is Barron Trump. He is Donald Trump's conscience. There's something about Barron Trump that is, there's something about him that's good. I think Barron Trump is a good dude. And I think he's a reminder of Trump, to Trump, of what it's like to be a good person. He's his moral conscience. I'm telling you right now, with that Saturn in the 12th house. But it's also something he has to live up to. It's not easy with Saturn and Leo. And your father is literally the king or literally the president. However, he can roll with it. He's got the Saturn moon trine, Sun, Saturn, moon. There's mom, by the way. Melania, the 9th house mom, the mom from another country. Mom, dad, Barron, the three of them. And in a lot of ways, they're more family, I think, than the other appellation or the other appellations of Trump's other families, of which there are two. This is the one that is the Trinity, right? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Mother. And they get on. Although I think with this Chiron-Saturn opposition, there are times when I think the guy loves his dad. But there are times when he has to deal with the fact that his father is one of the most polarizing figures in the world. And with Chiron and Aquarius, he's trying to figure out where he fits in. And it's not easy having Saturn opposing that Chiron. He's got Mars in Gemini, and he's got Mars in the 3rd house, which is really interesting. He's super active, and he needs a lot of stimulation. You know, here we encounter a square with Mars, Mercury, and Mars, Uranus. Barron Trump should not sit on his thoughts. He needs to express them. This is a rage aspect right here. So I think over the course of his life, he will wind up talking more and more and more and more and more. And once he gets going, look out, you won't be able to stop it. I think it's a really interesting chart. Super interesting. I wonder if he has any interest in like race car driving. He's got Pluto in the 10th house. Pluto in the 10th house is an interesting aspect because, I mean, there are, you know, as we look at it from a career perspective, every now and then in a person's life with Pluto in the 10th house, they get blown out, laid off, something happens, something really significant happens in their career. And it goes down in flames. And so they resurrect it, right? They resurrect it to do something. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of Pluto in the 10th is that whatever the person does, it has the potential to change society, to transform through the world stage. Pluto becomes an agent of change, an agent of transformation. And with the Sun-Pluto square, that's very intense. Very, very intense. It's interesting. It feels to me like I don't know, just like what would Barron Trump die for? Because that's the Sun-Pluto square. Like there's such a commitment to something that the individual would die for it. I'm guessing it's his mother. Now I have a prediction. I had this prediction a long time ago when I started looking at this chart. There is going to come a time when Barron Trump will not live in the United States. There's going to come a time when Melania Trump will not live in the United States. And maybe it's when Trump's, you know, second term is over or somewhere down the line after he graduates from college, he will move. And he will more than likely move to where his mother is from. Anyway, there's your True Hemp Science star of the day, the very enigmatic Barron Trump. He's not an Earthman. Okay, that's a good segue to the David Bowie story. Of course, David Bowie's the Stardust, inspired from Mars, he's from the Earth. So it's a good segue. I'll make it quick. For those of you that don't know the story. The story goes like this. I was working for a magazine called Mondo 2000. It was a magazine that was very out there. And Bowie loved the magazine, and Earthling had come out, and I wanted to interview for Earthling, but it was too late. I got in touch with his publicist. They said, "No, David's not doing this anymore, but we'll keep you in mind when the next record comes out." So the next record comes out. It's not his best record. There's some interesting songs on there. It's called Hours, but it's his midlife crisis record. It's kind of awful. But also at the same time, he's in this video game called Omicron Nomad Soul, where he plays this character named Boz, who is kind of this rock star. Hey, imagine that. It's a French company does the game. And you can be any character in the game except for Bowie. And I remember playing a copy of the game. I remember playing the game. I'm like, this game is a piece of shit. Sorry, it was. It's like part role play and kind of part sci-fi. It was just weird. It was a weird game. But if you wanted to, you could have any character except for Bowie. I thought that's interesting. And I know Bowie was very specific to the developers of the game. Nobody can inhabit me. Because Bowie is a very firm believer in things like magic. Okay? And he understands certain principles. All right, so there's another part of the story that happens before they contact me, Dave being his publicist. Hey, you want to come to New York and meet Dave? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So they fly me out. It was on was it Virgin? No, Virgin. I don't know what they flew me out. They flew me to New York. I stayed with Frank. But prior to that, I'd been hanging out with this guy from England. And he was very interesting. He was a photographer. And he had lots of interesting stories about people in England. And some of them were artists, right? And one of the stories was about a film director named Derek Jarman. And Derek Jarman was this experimental filmmaker. He's probably most well known for the movie Jubilee that stars Adam and Tilda Swinton. And he found out about this story because he was connected to Jarman, that David Bowie was spending time at Derek Jarman's flat. And they were working on a movie called Neutron. And it was set in the future, and it was kind of this very fascistic society. And at that time, I think David always had this interesting fascination with fascism and the Nazis and their uniforms. He loved the fashion, right? That song, Faction, turn to the left, turn to the right. But anyway. So he's going over there and he's hanging out. They're talking about the movie. They got storyboards. And he leaves a pack of Marlboro Lights at Jarman's place. So what does Jarman do? He's on the phone. He says, hey, guess what? David Bowie left his cigarettes in my house. Right? And somehow it gets back to Bowie that he left his cigarettes there. Through this weird thing, I guess somebody that he told Bowie, hey, David, Derek told me that you left your Marlboro Lights at his place. Bowie calls Derek Jarman up. He says, Derek, I want my Marlboros back, and I'm not doing the movie. And that was it, right? Because Bowie he's a believer in sympathetic magic. And those Marlboro Lights were connected to him. And so it was like leaving, a piece of your hair or something like that. And I guess he got the cigarette back. I don't know. Right? But I remembered that story. I was like, wow, that's a really interesting story. Anyway, so I go to New York and I go to the offices of Virgin because I think Virgin put out Hours. And I'm waiting. I watch the video, which I'd seen before. Is it Thursday's Child, I believe. I think that's the song. Anyway, I get ushered into the boardroom at Virgin. And there's the board table, I'm sitting in the room that Richard Branson sits at, essentially, right? And it's a beautiful room. It's a beautiful board table, bowls of flowers. There's candles. And at the head of the table, there is an ashtray. There is a pack of Marlboro lights and a small bit lighter. Well, obviously, that's where David's going to sit. So I'm going to sit next to him on the side. The publicist comes in and he says, Robert, David, David, Robert. And I get up and I go to shake his hand, and he's got this glazed look on his face, and his teeth are all broke open, and it broke in and like messed up, right? And he's got this glazed look, and he's almost like a zombie. And he sticks his arm out in this very mechanical way, and I shake his hand, and I'm like, I don't know where this is going. But, I'm just going to kind of roll with it, right? Whatever's happening here, I'm just going to roll with it. And he sits there for a moment, is gazing off into space. And it's one of these weird reality moments. Like, here I am, I'm interviewing David Bowie, and it's almost like they just let him out of the fucking hospital. And then he takes his hand, left hand, and puts them up to his mouth, and he pulls out these fake teeth. And then he takes his other hand and he slams it on the board table. And he says, unflappable. I like that. So I got pumped by David Bowie, right? But I kind of passed the test because he was reading me, right? He was like checking me out. Like, how is this guy going to respond? And I thought, he's got a very interesting sense of humor. So we start the interview. We're talking about this. We're talking about that. I asked him about Velvet Goldmine, which is kind of, supposedly kind of a cipher of him and Iggy Pop. And Iggy Pop had a new album. We talked about that. And Brian Ferry had a new album. We talked about that. And I said, are you ever going to do Ziggy as a movie? And he says, oh, God, yes, we're going to do a movie. We're going to do a Broadway play. It's going to be, virtual. It's going to be all across all these platforms. I'm like, great. So we're talking about movies. And then I said, well, speaking of movies, there's a movie I want to ask you about. And he's like, he's all John. Oh, by the way, at one point, the phone is ringing in the boardroom. And he's looking at me devilish. He's like, should I answer it? Should I answer it? I'm like, yeah, don't answer it. He runs over there. And remember, this is Virgin Records. And he answers and he goes, hello, EMI, which is another record company. And he was like, David Bowie he was a funny guy. And he had a kind of a wicked sense of humor. And I'm like cracking up. It's like he's just doing all these pranks. But he's an Aquarius rising, by the way. So he's got an interesting interface. So anyway, we get on the subject of movies. So by the way, there's a movie I want to ask you about. Supposedly there was this movie called Neutron that you were working on with Derek Jarman. Sounded really interesting. Whatever happened with that movie? You should have seen his fucking face. He was like stunned. And he said, oh, right. It was a beautiful storyboard. Oh, Derek was a genius. It was great. And it just wasn't enough money for it. Blah, 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 blah. Then he looks at me and he says, by the way, how do you know about that? Not many people know about that. Well, there's a point before that. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I skipped a point. I said about the movie, I said, well, there's another part of this. That's right. He says, by the way, how do you know about that? Not many people know about that. I said, well, there's another part of the story that I wanted to ask you about. Supposedly, you left your Marlboro lights over there. And Derek called you about it. Or Derek told people, and word got back to you. And when you heard about it, you told Derek that you wanted your Marlboro lights back, and you weren't going to do the movie. That's when he looked stunned. Deer in the fucking headlights. Like David Bowie was malfunctioning in that moment. I'm like, holy shit. And I love Bowie. Like, as far as rock idols go, he was always like, Bowie Hendrix. And I'm like, shit, I got to take this guy off the cross now. Because I just put him in the crosshairs. I just hit him with something. And it was like, I had to give him an out. And I said, urban legend? He says, Oh, God, yes, right. Urban legend, urban legend. And it was really interesting because he came in, right, pranking me and kind of fucking with me a little bit. And he didn't know I was going to come with this German story. And it was like, who kind of pranked who? And I love Bowie. I wouldn't do it out of any sense of maliciousness. I just thought it'd be really interesting to bring it up. So anyway, that's how the interview went. And then I asked him about the game. I'm like, I noticed in that game, Omicron, you could be anybody in the game, but you can't be you. He says, well, that was one of the things I said to the French. I said, I'm not letting anybody get in me. I said, what about Amon? You can let them get in Amon, because she's in the game, right? She's a character. And he says, oh, God, yes. So we're funny. I'm like, oh, okay. It was an interesting moment in time, and one that I'll never forget. So thanks for listening to the story. And I think I got most of it right. There's a little broken sequence there. Come join me over on 15 Minutes of Flame. We'll have a jolly old time looking how fucked up the world is. And we get a good laugh at it along the way. All right, take good care. Enjoy this day. Keep your sense of humor about you. Treat each other well. God bless. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.